Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So what is the static keyword? When you create a class, you're describing how objects of that class look and how they will behave. You don't actually get an object until you create one using new, and at that point storage is allocated for that object and methods become available. So you have two situations in which this approach isn't sufficient. As you can see on the screen, one is if you want to have only a single piece of storage for a particular field, regardless of how many objects of that class are created, or even if no objects are created. And two is if you need a method that isn't associated with any particular object of this class. That is, you need a method that you can call even when no objects are created. So you can achieve both of these effects with the static keyword. First, let's make a non-static field. I'll create an integer with the value of 47. So with non-static fields and methods, you must create an object and use that object to access the field or method, right? So let's create an object of the class. And let's change the value of I for that object to say, let's say 13. And then I'm going to use system.out.println to print the value of I for object 1. And now let's create a new object. And print out the value of I for object 2. So if we run this program, you'll see that we get 13 for object 1 and 47 for object 2. That's because each object has its own copy of the I variable. However, let's change the integer field to static. Now, if we rerun the program, you'll see that we get 13, and that's because both objects have the same value of I since they refer to the same piece of memory, right? Object 1 changed I to 13, so whenever we make a new object and print out its value, it'll also be 13. So there are two ways to refer to a static variable. One is via an object, which we did here. We want object1.I, and the second is directly through its class name. As you can see here, the compiler is giving us some warnings. It's actually telling us to use the class name because it's the preferred way to refer to a static variable. Why? Not only does it emphasize that variable's static nature, but in some cases, it gives the compiler better opportunities for optimization. So instead of saying object1.I, we'd actually write the class name.I. Okay, so the whole time we were talking about fields, but similar logic applies to static methods as well. So you can refer to a static method either through an object, as you can with any method, or with the special additional syntax, class name.method. So let's make a new class. Called incrementable, and let's make a method called increment. You can see that the incrementable method increments the static data I using the ++ operator. So you can call the increment method in the typical way through an object. So let's create an object right here of the new class. Or because increment is a static method, you can call it directly through its class, which is the preferred way. An important use of static for methods is to allow you to call that method without creating an object. So I hope you understood what static means, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!